Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another seven-figure MSP live webcast. My name is Chris Weiser. Our webcast title today is How to Bring Unlimited MSP Leads into Your Sales Pipeline. Actually, I kind of did that backwards. How to bring unlimited leads into your MSP sales pipeline. Really excited to have you guys here with us today. So I'm gonna give you a little intro on me in a minute here and a little intro on my co-host, Lindsay Badillo. But just want to welcome you guys for coming, give you a couple little housekeeping items before we get rolling here. So we'll get that. So got a few things we're going to do today. First of all, I'm going to talk a little bit about how important sales is in your MSP. And I will tell you, I owned an MSP for 10 plus years. And I didn't start really growing that MSP. I started it in the end of 2004. We kind of were like up a little bit and then almost like growth by accident to a point up until I actively took a pretty substantive role in sales and really pushed forward. Along with that came marketing. But for that last 5 years, we grew like 600-700% as an MSP. So what was different? It was the sales side and the marketing side combined. So I'm going to talk a little bit about sales, and then we have Lindsay Badillo here to talk about the 3 secrets to bringing unlimited leads into your MSP sales pipeline. Now, a couple things I have for you guys before we get started. First of all, if you stay with me until the end, I'm going to be giving away multiple prizes. We have multiple gift cards. So we're going to be giving away one $500 Amazon gift card. That image shows $250. I can't find a $500 image. I should just take that off of there, I suppose, but whatever. Upsell. We're giving you guys $500. I tell our clients, the only thing better than perfect is done. So we're just going. That is what it is. So one person's going to get a $500 Amazon gift card today. That's live with us here on Zoom. Another person is going to get a $100 Amazon gift card. Plus, everyone here that's watching with us has a chance to win your very own Amazon $50 gift card. Now, for people in the United States and Canada, you will get that. If anybody wins from outside of the United States, we will get your information and we'll figure out how to, because we've kind of figured out that the Amazon gift cards, which I can't believe they do this, but the Amazon gift cards that work here in North America don't work everywhere else. So we'll just have to figure out whether to send you PayPal or whatever, but we'll figure it out. We've had a couple, I think 2 people, one from Australia and one from the UK in the last couple months here that won. So that's kind of what it is. So anyway, I know that you are in the middle of your Monday. I understand that in MSP land, Monday is Spanish for fire drill. Honestly, it is always putting out fires and doing all this other stuff because stuff breaks over the weekend. People come into work and then they're like, freaking out. So they're putting in tickets and calling. I understand. So, but with that, please pay attention. We have some really valuable content for you today. I got some things I'm going to talk about, but more importantly, Lindsay is going to go through multiple different marketing things, 3 secrets on how to grow your MSP. And these are things that we'd love to help you with, but we don't have to. We're going to give you tons of information that you can actively use and put into your MSP. You just got to execute. And that's kind of the biggest thing that we see. So along with that, please pay attention. That means no tickets, no client calls. This phone thing that we got here, the cell phone thing, put it away. And Lindsay, how many times do we watch MSPs as they're on coaching calls with us where they're like
picking up the phone, looking at
picking up the phone, just chill. We got to grow our businesses somehow. You can work on your business right now. So give us 60 to 90 minutes. This is going to be worth your time. If you've already seen some of our content, watch how we're doing things. We do 2 webinars a month here at 7-Figure MSP. It's important to pay attention. It's important to replicate. So I know we have some of our clients on this call as well. That stuff's for you guys. Anybody else that's out there doing the live webcasts or any of these different things, pay attention and execute what we do. That means no distractions. And if you're serious about changing your business, give us 60 to 90 minutes. We are going to help you. This is free of charge. This is nothing. We're giving you valuable content. And even if you're here for nothing, we're giving you a $500 gift card, a $100 gift card. And if you book a call at the end, we'll work with you to get your own $50 gift card. Okay. If you do not know me, my name is Chris Weiser. You heard me mention earlier that I owned an MSP up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I currently live in Austin, Texas. It's a beautiful day today. It's 70 degrees Fahrenheit here today. So it's a very comfortable day. But I owned an MSP for over 10 years up in Milwaukee, sold it to a company from Chicago back in 2015. And I built that MSP from a 0-person shop. So I actually had a retail computer store that I started in the year 2000, January 11th of 2000 is when it actually was. That was my first day in business that I actually was doing things. And I grew that to a really solid six-figure MRR business. It was really, really good. And I'm very excited about it. And I just happened to have somebody walk in the door and offer me a really good exit, and kind of talked to my wife, and she looked at me like, "You really thinking of not taking that?" So here we are. But now I can teach you guys. And what we did since then is, again, I sold that MSP in 2015, but I've since then built an 8-figure MSP coaching firm called 7-figure MSP. You can see that's me live on stage there in the background. We have our next live event literally next week in Orlando, Florida. It'll be just, I'll be getting to Orlando like a week from right now, Lindsay, coming in Monday night. We have some really good content there. But my moral of the story is I was able to do all of this on my own, both on the sales side and the marketing side. Now, granted, it took me hundreds of thousands of dollars of learning and of evolving and growing. And more importantly, it took me 14 years to go from computer store owner, 14 and change actually, from computer store owner up to actually having an MSP and selling that MSP. It took me all of that time. That is something that we here at 7-figure MSP goal to save you. That's your most important asset that you could ever have, is that time factor. So I'll talk about that in a minute. Meanwhile, let me take a second to introduce my beautiful co-host, Lindsay Badillo. She is our head marketing coach here at 7-figure MSP Market. Lindsay, why don't you give us a little background on yourself?
Hi, yeah. So I'm Lindsay. I am our marketing coach here at 7-figure. So I work with MSPs, IT, MSPs. So I've learned and all of our awesome clients here in making marketing simple, doable, actionable. Actually, about 10 minutes or about 30 minutes before we started today's webinar, I popped into our clients link Facebook group and I said, hey, if you guys are getting ready to launch your webinar, come in today, come and see how we're doing it. So yeah, I was actually a first grade teacher, an elementary teacher before I came into the marketing world several years ago. And so it was funny whenever Chris and I met and we were talking about coming into this role, I said, yeah, I taught first grade. And he said, great, because this is going to be like teaching marketing first grade style. And that is so true. And I think it's actually really, really worked out because we're able to turn marketing. And this, I love that picture, by the way.
Nice, guys. Literally got people calling me right now and I just hit the wrong button. So sorry.
Put the phone up.
User error. Well, that's on my watch is the problem. And I jumped when it happened. So that's what happened.
Oh man, all the distractions, no worries. But yeah, so I am our marketing magician here and I help our MSPs make marketing easy and doable and breaking it down step by step. So I'm excited to be on today's webinar. We are going to be live in person next week. So this is our last webinar before we are in person in Orlando tomorrow. So I'm excited for this opportunity to teach you all, give you some tangible action steps today. The things I'll be teaching you is not just theoretical. It's not just this works for other people. No, this is get your notebooks, take notes, make a to-do list for yourself and then go and do these things. And like Chris said, you can do it by yourself. You can get our support. Whatever works for you. Okay. So make sure that we use the most of our time here today.
Yeah. And also, if you're here, if you've been here on a couple times, or this is your first time here, we've built our stuff exactly the same way. So I built my MSP marketing, just like Lindsay is going to talk about today. I also built 7-figure MSPs marketing. I started out literally picking a niche, picking my vertical, going after who I'm going to go after. I built an email nurture list and built a Facebook group and built a LinkedIn following and started there. And that was in 2016, 17, about 2000. I'd say March of 2017 is really when I buckled down and said, okay, I'm going to go in this path. And then we've kind of really, really grown it from there. So we'll talk a little bit more as Lindsay goes here. We'll hear from here in a second. But just a little quick marketing humor. You guys kind of saw me as accidentally bumped my slides here, but a little marketing humor for you all. And this is coming from now. Yes, I'm a marketer, but I'm way more sales focused now than I ever was. I have a CMO in my company. I also have salespeople in my company. So I'm running the strategy is what I run. And I'm always working on that stuff. But it's funny because we have the deal closed and the salesperson just hanging out there. But underneath that is all of this stuff propping it up. And that's what a lot of people don't see. And I absolutely value marketing. And I think it's such a huge component. But all those jokes aside, that just shows how important it is. But before Lindsay kind of brings her stuff in here and talks more about the marketing guts, I want to show you guys a little bit about sales. And one quick question I have for you before we get started, and we got a lot of live people here with us on Zoom in the chat. So with you guys that are here, get your keyboard strokes ready. If you want to grow your business, you need both sales and marketing systems. But what I want to ask you guys is what comes first? Is it sales or is it marketing? Which one? I want you guys to throw that in the chat for me and give me some options. So we got people typing in here. We got one marketing, we got one sales coming in. Another person said they're the same thing, and I disagree with you on Amber, and we're going to talk a little bit about that. That's the first time I've heard that. I love that. But a lot of people, almost everybody here is saying marketing, and I don't disagree with that, guys. I know that marketing is important, but one of the things that I want to tell you, and this is where I would argue with that, I know marketing is mission critical, but here's the trick. If you don't know, how did I get bumped off here? If you don't have your sales piece in order, you're going to really, really struggle, because what happens is, and this is what's true in the MSP world almost across, I don't care, across the world at this point. We have such a large presence in our company and our Facebook groups and all this now. If you look at this, here's where we sit. And this is where the kind of the state of the MSP industry right now. We're in this place where MSPs never really had a sales process. Now, they had some MSPs have a sales process. Even my MSP had a sales process, but the problem was we were completely responsive or almost reactive to our client needs, which is good to a point, but because we didn't have any full sales process, any full smoking gun, any of these other things, it put us in this place where we were trying to solve our sales objections with price reduction. And so it's really important. And while I 100% agree that marketing is critical, mission critical, you cannot grow your business without marketing. If I handed most MSPs right now the perfect lead and said, here you go, MSP, here's a 80-seat orthopedic clinic that has tons of budget for IT, blah, 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 we would sell it the same old way we've always sold it versus where we sit now. And where we sit now is a very unique time in this industry. It is the best time you've ever had in this industry. Why? Because we have this smoking gun. You heard me talk about that smoking gun a minute ago. We have this smoking gun, cybersecurity, hacking, and risk. The end user is finally in a place that we can go after and talk about risk. So I'll talk about that in a few minutes here. We also have in fact, the first Monday of every month, Cindy Phillips, our head sales coach, and I do our monthly sales strategy webinar. That's where we really get into the guts of that, but I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. But the bottom line is you can solve any problem with cash flow. Think about any problem you have in your MSP business right now, any major problem. If I said, I'm going to double your MRR right now, does that solve that problem? 9 times out of 10, probably 99 times out of 100, the answer is going to be yes. Because if we want to go after it, we can do it. We can make those choices. And it's a really important mindset. So I want to ask you guys another question here on the chat with me. How much MRR did you add last year? And the reason I ask this is our MSPs actively in our program right now are doubling their MRR every 12 months. And that is a really important thing because most MSPs that are out there in the public, they're looking in the scenario and Lindsay, you've seen this as we have MSPs come in the door. Note, guys, Lindsay is not an MSP veteran. I think she thought MSP meant Minneapolis, St. Paul when she first came here. Like you had no idea what it was, right? So almost every MSP that's out there in the wild is very stagnant. Think about my MSP that I said when I had my open. We were growth by accident. It was maybe a referral once in a while. It was maybe some new leads. It was maybe some of this stuff. If I go to a chamber event, I may stumble onto somebody that's a good fit. There was no purpose to it. And that is such an important mindset to remember. You could solve any problem with cash flow. And think about how much MRR you added in the last 12 months. What would you say if I told you that you, sitting on this call right now, could double your MRR in the next 12 months? That is what we do in our seven-figure MSP sales coaching program. Let's do a quick exercise. Now, you guys do not have to put anything in the chat. I want you to just do this yourself. If you want to put your result in the chat that are live with us here, feel free to do that. But we're going to do a quick exercise. So as Cindy Phillips, get your supercomputer, which is her calculator, get your supercomputer ready. And let's do a quick exercise with me. So think about this. Take this number. If you are an MSP owner or a decision maker, you should know what this is. Again, you do not have to put this in the chat, but you're welcome to. How much MRR, your monthly recurring revenue, do you currently have? Now think that in that MRR amount, how many seats do you currently have under management? Now that, if you want to take that, let's say it's 40,000 of MRR and then 200 seats. Let's just do a little bit of math right here on my supercomputer, which is my iPhone calculator. So we're going to do that 40,000 of MRR. We're going to divide it by 400 seats. That's $100 per seat. Type that number in the chat for me. Now, what I want that to say, and what I want you guys to think about, I'm just going to put my little calculator in here. The average that comes into this meeting or this call, which is pretty much the average of most MSPs that we see, is about $68 per seat. We have some that are on the high end, we have some that are on the low end, and it kind of averages out to about 68 bucks per seat. Now, we are in a unique scenario right now. A couple tips I'm going to give you. Thing number one, you should be on minimum, I'd say a minimum 1-year agreement with every client, but your recommended baseline should be a 3-year agreement. Why? Because all your vendors, everything that's out there is asking you to sign those long-term agreements. And also it gives you a point to negotiate up or down. Because now you think about MSP land, we can't just go in there and say, what do you want? We are the experts. The insurance companies, the law, legislation, all these things are starting to come to us and say, you better have a minimum stack, both managed services and managed security that you're offering your clients. So without the ability to take anything out, which honestly, that stack is a huge advantage because now we have a baseline. We have a baseline that the industry is saying, you have to do this. Now we're not quite there. There's no MSP police yet, but the insurance companies are slowly becoming the MSP police because they're in this world of, we're going to hold you, Mr. MSP, accountable if you don't tell your clients to do this. So we have this opportunity in front of us, and that baseline gives us a way at that 36-month level to say, okay, you want it cheaper? Let's up the term. You want it less stuff in there or less things on there? You want less of a term? We'll increase the price. Think about that metric. That's something that people are used to doing every single day. They do this with their houses, their cars, their business loan, their credit cards, all that stuff financially, they have a standard term. So baseline stack on a baseline 36-month term. So think about that MRR number we got, and we got a bunch of numbers in here. We got an 80, a 250, a 103, a 133, a 125. Now, if you take that number and you add $100 per seat, that should be where you're sitting in the next 3 months. And that's where we are sitting in our first 3 to 6 months in our 7-figure MSP coaching program, a minimum of that. I just had an MSP, Lindsay, I don't think we've talked about this yet, but I had an MSP come into our program last week, Monday, on our onboarding call. We do Monday onboardings every single week. And we had a guy come in and he's got 40K of MRR and he's got, I think, 600 and some seats. And we calculated that his 6-month upgrade goal is going to be to double his MRR in 6 months. Mm-hmm. Think about those numbers, guys, and what that would do for your MSP. That's the kind of growth you should see in today's marketplace. And Lindsay, again, not MSP person, you see how many wins we are having in this program. You see how many success stories we have. We see guys coming in here. Jerry Morgan's a great example. We just had, I'm trying to think the guy that somebody had we hadn't talked to the guy in like 6 months. So he's been off working. God, we just had a Google review from him, I think last week, Thursday, but he doubled his MRR in the first 11 months in the program. All these things are happening. And I just want you guys to know, if you are not growing, we are a resource for you. You should be seeing these type of numbers, and you should be averaging around $250 per seat on new sales. Again, baseline stack, basic managed services, basic cybersecurity. That is what the law, and I'm going to say insurance right now, but legislation's coming. We're watching it happen right now in Washington. We're watching, and when the United States kind of goes, and the rest of the world kind of follows. And I'm not biased towards the US. It's just the reality of what happens in that scenario. So I want you guys to think about that and realize how much of an opportunity you have. Now, note, I'm going to have some people, especially those of you that are out there on Facebook and all this, that are commenting blindly. I understand that you may think that this is ripping off your clients. A baseline stack of managed services and a baseline stack of managed security means you have more tools you have to put in. You have to put more cost in. Who is going to eat that cost? If you are not having these discussions with your clients, you're going to eat it. And also, if you're not having the cybersecurity discussion with your clients, you're going to eat the liability too. And that's the thing that scares me the most about where most MSPs sit. So think about all that stuff. reach out to us. We got opportunity to book a call at the end of today's webcast, but I just wanted to get that out there. So what do we do that's a little bit different? This is all I'm going to talk from a sales standpoint. First of all, we build a proven comprehensive sales process. We focus on execution. So we give you the steps. We just kind of talked about that best time ever to sell. We give you the steps with a cybersecurity focused approach. We focus on making sure you're executing, going back to your existing clients first, going to new prospects after that. Again, think about where we're at with the marketing versus sales mindset here. Yes, marketing's critical, but if you're not selling the right way, you're never going to get to those numbers that we're talking about. And if you're letting price dictate your performance or letting clients take things out of the stack because they don't want to pay enough, you don't have a good enough sales process. It is what it is. It's part of the deal. Most MSPs aren't great at this simply because they don't have the practice. They don't have the training. They started out as IT people, myself included. Okay, so think about all that stuff. And our goal is to build an innate sales first mindset. Let's go back to my MSP that started in 2004, early 2005. It took me 4.5 years to get that innate sales first mindset programmed into me and then programmed down to my people. It takes time. My program, 7-Figure MSP Elite, is a accelerant for that. And we offer all the baselines to that for you. And we also teach you to say no to bad deals, to manage your own risk, that cybersecurity piece we just talked about a second ago. We give you that security first sales process along with true quarterly business reviews, true growth, all these different things. And our goal is to help you see ROI on our program in the first 30 to 60 days. And then now this is a critical point to my beginning, once that sales system is set up, then we move you into marketing. We do full marketing coaching here with all the systems and the processes to teach you how to do it right. Not just sales, not just marketing, but sales first, growth into lead generation. So you know how to close these deals the right way. Okay. So we're going to have some questions. If you guys have questions on any of that, we have a Q&A section up in Zoom. Please put your question in. We are going to do full Q&A at the end of our content today. So please don't hesitate to do that. Looks like we don't have any in there yet, but you guys feel free to do that. And then as we go here, I'm going to bring in Lindsay and let her take it away from here.
Awesome. So before I jump into my content, I do want to add something to what you were just showing about our process. So, like you mentioned, I have not been in the MSP world that long. I've been here for 9 months now, I think, or 8 or 9 months. And what I've seen though, what really makes and this just like blows me away because whenever you said, hey, we had someone come into onboarding last week, their goal is to double their MRR. Did you see my face? It like didn't even change. I was like, oh, because honestly, we see that all the time. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, like that's just expected. Good for him. But the second part is what I've noticed with a lot of the other marketing programs out there, a lot of the other vendors, which are great. We partner with some amazing vendors, but I think that whenever you have the coaching and the support and the mentoring and all of the resources that we provide in conjunction with those other resources, like that's whenever you really grow, because we're not just saying, hey, here's a big vault, here's a big library of all this stuff, go plug it in and make it work. Yeah. We're literally walking you through like our sales side is, all right, step 1, do this. Step 2, do that. Here's your MS. Like it's literally step by step. Same with marketing. And that's just something that I've noticed from being here in our world, throughout this year.
And I think something with that too is, again, most MSPs are very comfortable doing what you're doing right now because it's kind of what you always did. But I'm going to tell you guys, this cybersecurity stuff is coming at you whether you change or not. We are actively watching, we do an all hands weekly call with our coaching clients every single week. Lindsay's on that call. I'm on that call. Every single week now we're talking about incidents and incident response and insurance is changing and all these different things. In fact, my guest for my lunch and learn this upcoming Wednesday is Gary Michael from Antigen Incident Response. So we're going to talk a lot about that stuff, but it's now our number one topic is responding to incidents and dealing with the potential liabilities that are out there. So I'm not going to tell you have to change, but the market will tell you have to change very soon. So you better be, if you're not like, you could tell me that I have people tell me I'm dumb all the time and that I don't know what I'm talking about. But the thing that Cindy and I have been really upfront of for now 2.5, 3 years is this whole cybersecurity trend and where we're going. And we are a first mover in that across the board.
Yeah, and you see it every single day.
Yeah.
Things on the news, things on, your Apple News, things come up every single day with breaches, incidents, and I think that more people are waking up to it. So, like you said, there's just so much opportunity right now. Not in the sense of, oh, well, we're going to go seize this bad thing that's happening, but you guys all here have an opportunity to make a difference, in your business owners, in your clients' lives and their businesses. So
Yep.
that's big stuff that y'all are doing. And it's kind of like what Chris Krebs said at our last live event. Like, you guys are the superheroes. Like, you're the ones with the capes on, saving the day. You're on the front line. You're on the front line, like the infantry of this stuff. So big stuff that you're doing.
Yep.
All right, so we're going to keep rocking and rolling here. So the way that we're going to go through this is I'm going to teach in the rule of 3. And for those of you, any of our clients here that are watching this, getting ready for your webinars that are coming up, I like to teach in the rule of 3s. I think Chris does this as well. But anytime that you can teach something in the rule of 3, people just remember it better and they're more likely to go and do that thing. It's more likely to stick with them. So what I'm going to do is I'll walk us through the 3 problems that I really see with MSPs, with our clients when they first come in. Some big problems that stick out, why that's an issue. And then I'm going to teach you the alternative. So what we want to see you do instead, what you can do instead so that you can bring in more leads, so that you can increase your MRR, AKA your monthly recurring revenue. Okay. So the first rule or the first problem that I see with MSPs and implementing an actual marketing plan, meaning the act of bringing in leads and being in charge of how many leads are coming in, like you have a faucet that you can turn on and turn off. The number one problem that I see, let me get my mouse, there it is. Uh-oh. There we go. Is that you just have no idea. You have no idea where or how to bring them in. So I see this especially like in our big Facebook group that we have. Chris has the big 16, I think we're at 16,000 something members now. But a lot of questions, a lot of conversations go on inside of this group, like, hey, where are you getting leads? And then it's kind of comical sometimes to go through the comments because they're like, I don't know where they come from, what leads. And it's like, okay, hey, if you don't know how to get the leads in, let's learn. Come into this webinar, let's figure it out, let's make a plan. Okay. But that's the number one thing, is that you just don't know where. So what ends up happening is that you end up depending on referrals. And there's nothing wrong with referrals. I live in a pretty small town. I think our population is like less than 20,000. If I had an MSP, I could probably survive on referrals. I probably could do it. So if I was in your shoes and I was in my town, I could probably survive. Now, would I grow my company to 40, 50, even 100K MRR? Probably not, though, because I would not have a plan on how to get in more leads. Okay, so if this is you right now, if you're depending on referrals, put a 1 in the chat. I'm just curious how many of you are like, yep, Lindsay, that's me. You're talking to me right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, in the marketing machine, we actually talk about a systemized way how to increase your referrals. But like Chris calls it, that's like the cherry on top. That's like, boom, that's after we get some planned lead generation going on. Okay, now what's the issue with this? This is dangerous. You don't have any control over this. Okay, so it's really contingent on how people feel about you. It's dependent on the economy, what's on the news that week. It's dependent on so many things that are outside of your control. Okay, because you can't depend on people sending you referrals or not. Sure, you can incentivize them. Sure, you can send out an email, which we recommend doing. You can send out an ask email saying, hey, send us the, do you know anyone that could use these services? We give out a referral gift. Absolutely. But you can't depend on that. Okay. So
we actually see a lot of people that come to us as prospects saying not only do they rely on only referrals, but then we have a lot of the SEO people too that say, oh, I have my SEO out there. And they literally are like, okay, between that and that. And I know that's kind of where you're going next too, but that's a big factor.
That's exactly it. And we like to call that the luck of the draw, because again, you really can't count on the SEO. You really can't count on the Google search. I like to see it. I think it's great if you're being consistent in blogs and you've got somebody that's working on your website, putting those SEO things out. That's great. But do you have control over how many people are Googling for the right word and then that pings your website to pop up? No, you don't. Again, you're dependent on how much competition is also targeting those same people with those same SEO rules. Okay. And that's if you even get someone that actually knows what they're doing with the SEO. So that is not a very targeted lead generation plan. I think it's great and it's the cherry on top, but we want something that we're able to turn off, something that we're able to really control. Okay. So the second problem that I see, and again, this is great that we're doing something. Something is definitely better than nothing, but we can do better. Okay. So sometimes some of you are maybe using content that's coming to you from partners, from vendors out there, from marketing programs, etc. Maybe you're using newsletters or blog postings for your SEO, or you're getting social media content from them, and you're kind of just plugging and playing it, and you're like, yeah, that's my marketing. That's fine. Well, the thing is that again, this is not positioning you in a way to get in automated leads. This is not positioning you. I'm actually going to get into this in just a minute, but this is not positioning you to stand out in any way. So this is what we call canned or cookie cutter content and strategies. Your MSP ends up sounding like every other MSP out there, every other IT cybersecurity company out there. And maybe, yeah, you are putting out a piece of content every single day, or yeah, maybe you are posting those newsletters, but how many people are reading them? And not just reading them, but how many people are taking action on it? Okay, so maybe, you've got some website visitors, but how many of those visitors are actually booking the call? Okay, so yeah, maybe you're putting out that content on your LinkedIn, but is it getting people to do what you want them to do, which is most likely book a consultation with you, set up an appointment so that you can talk to them about getting them secure, getting them signed up with you, signing them as a client. Okay, now I'm going to tell, and these are the three things that we're going to be doing today. I'm going to give you actionables so that you can actually go and improve, go and optimize these things in your MSP. Okay. So again, your ideal clients, if you're putting out canned content, cookie cutter content, quote unquote, we want to make sure that we're able to communicate why those people should choose you. Why should your ideal clients choose you, choose your company? We're going to talk about some niche things. We're going to talk about how to position yourself as the go-to IT and cybersecurity company. Okay. Now, the third problem that I see with MSPs, again, I said that, hey, we're going to do the rule of threes. So rule one, or the first problem that we saw was we're depending on referrals or depending on luck of the draw on SEO. We really just don't know where to get those leads. Second problem is we're kind of just pushing out random content, cookie cutter content. We're like, yeah, that's my marketing plan. I'm not really sure what to do from there. That's a start, but we can do better. And the third problem that we see over here is that maybe you know what you should be doing. Maybe you're on this webinar and this is like your sixth time being here and you've been watching and you've been learning and you're like, all right, Lindsay, Chris, I get it. I know I should be doing these things, but I'm a little intimidated. Because you're like, webinars, me showing up on camera, learning how to do these funnels. I've got to go do goat yoga now, all these things. And it's a little intimidating. Okay. And I get it. I totally get it. It is intimidating. There is a learning curve to it, and it's a lot to get started. Yes, +1 for the goat yoga. Absolutely, Kelly. But what we do, what the really, really cool part is that once you get these things set up, is that it's set up for the long haul. Once you can get it set up, it's done. And then you know how to get leads on repeat. But the really, really cool part about seven-figure MSP, and I love what I do, I love working with our team, I love working with our clients, is that we make it implementable. We break down the action steps to make sure that you're not just thrown into the fire and we say, all right, good luck, figure it out, here's you some templates to copy. No, we're literally giving you the step-by-step, the play-by-play on how to get these things set up for you, because it is intimidating. It absolutely is. And it takes time to see results from it. And marketing is all about the long game. It's all about setting up the strong foundation and then staying consistent. And that's going to come by you doing the same thing over and over. Like Chris said, we do these webinars every single month. Chris does a sales one with Cindy, our sales coach, in the beginning of the month. The third Monday of every single month, we're here doing our marketing webinar every single month, doing the same thing over and over. Okay. And that's what it's going to take is setting up the foundations and then continuing to do it and knowing that you're on the right path. Okay. And getting the support that you need. All right. So In the next 20 to 30 minutes or so, we're going to walk through how to get past those 3 issues and how to actually tangibly bring in more leads. So put a yes in the chat if you are ready, if you want to bring in new leads into your business. Yes, awesome, awesome, Amber. Let's go, Jeffrey. Good stuff. All right, so here we go. Secret number 1. And we talked about the cookie cutter content. All right. So this is directly tying back in with that cookie cutter content, that canned content. We're just plugging and playing. All right. And we said, hey, the issue with that is that you're sounding like everybody else out there. And maybe you're putting content out, but is anybody really taking action from it? All right. So what we want to do is we want to become the go-to MSP in our industry, and we want to stand out from our competitors. We want people to know exactly why it is that they should book that call with us, exactly if our services are for them or not. And so whenever we're just plugging and playing and hoping for the best and crossing our fingers and saying, oh man, I hope this template works, that's not going to cut it. Okay?
Really quick, one other thing that I've noticed on that, there's definitely some, all kinds of different marketing services that people have. And I'm going to give you a great example with this. I had multiple cold callers in my company. So not just written content, we were doing voice calling. And we ended up getting really good at it. I was in Milwaukee. We had huge, amazing results for my MSP. And I had this bright idea that, okay, I can do this for other MSPs and it'll be fine. It never even dawned on me that the same message that worked in Milwaukee would get completely FU'd out of the building in New York, or anywhere on the East Coast, or honestly, anywhere on the East Coast. Still worked in the heartland, like all the Midwest, it worked really well. But you come down to Texas, it didn't work. Anything south and southeast didn't work at all. And it just blew me away. So the same copy and the same content, I don't care how you deliver it, varies by market. So you can't just look at somebody else's campaign that they had and they had this amazing success. You also don't know how, and I'm not going to debate, some of those things can work. You're also maybe the first one in that market with some of those content pieces. So it may work in a market, but it also may totally flop. And you just can't walk into it. The same concept is kind of my point.
Absolutely. And I think that comes down to you knowing really, really clearly who your ideal client is, who's your target market, what geographic location are you in, which we're going to talk about here in just a few minutes. So you're absolutely right on that, Chris. Someone over here said Milwaukee does not equal New York, and you're absolutely right. All right. So whenever we say, all right, we help you solve your IT needs, we're your IT company. And that ends up saying that ends up being the same exact message that maybe they're hearing from someone else that's in your same area. You end up sounding just like them, just like your competitors that are in the city with you, that are right there with you. Or maybe you don't sound like anyone else, but they don't understand why it is that they need that. So have any of you ever heard, oh, we're too small to be hacked? Oh, no one wants what we have. Oh, we're just a little small. We're in a small town. We're not ever going to get breached. No, we're fine. Okay. So what that tells me immediately, my marketer's like light bulb is going off, and it's telling me that your content, your cold call messages, your email campaigns, whatever it is that you're doing is not speaking to those businesses. It's not speaking to those small to medium sized businesses. Okay. So we're going to work on our message. We're going to work on our ideal client. Uh-oh, where'd my mouse go? There it is. Okay, so we've got to articulate why our clients come to you. Why should they come to your company over the competitors? Why should they come to you in the first place? So what's going to make you that go-to IT and cybersecurity company? Now you can screenshot this. You can take a picture of this. You can write it down. Either way, do this right here and right now. This is going to help your company stand out. This is going to help you be able to articulate your message, articulate why they should come to you in a way that they care about, okay? In a way that your ideal clients care about, so that you get more leads through the door, all right? So here's an example. Here at blank, so your company's name, here at ABC Technology, that's always my go-to. Anyone that's been at Marketing Machine Live, it's always Cyber Joe at ABC Tech. But here at ABC Tech, we help, and then your ideal client. Now, you heard Chris talk very briefly earlier about your ideal client and your target niche. You want to pick a target niche for your marketing efforts. Now, This is not to say that this is going to lock you into you can only work with these type of clients. You can only service in this industry. This is just saying that whenever you go and do your own webinar, or whenever you go to build a list to then do some cold calls or even cold emails, whenever you get to that stage, that you have a target, that you know exactly who it is that you're speaking to, that you've gotten into the psychology of that industry. Okay, so let's just say, for an example, we're going to go with let's talk to auto dealerships. And this is a funny one that actually has just become very popular in the marketing machine because of the new FTC regulations that are coming out, that are rolling out in December, I believe. You guys,
And if you guys don't know what that means, it's the FTC safeguards. And the FTC has come in and basically mandated that car dealerships in the last 30 days, they've kind of come out and said this. And it's like Lindsay said, I think it goes into effect December 5th. That they have to have multi-factor authentication at a minimum because they're starting to see so many financial issues.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what that is.
It's anyone that handles loans or personal information. And so it's car dealerships is just one of them. Like, and this is just, I mean, it's a big opportunity for all of you. Okay.
Well, we've watched, I think we have 480 plus employee car dealerships get signed in the last 45 days in our program, right? So we are seeing these guys do this. And again, that's the $250 to $350 per seat range. That's happening and getting done at notoriously difficult. And for the person from Milwaukee, I know because I had David Hobbs Honda. We also had the entire Ewald Automotive Group as clients. So I know how cheap these guys are natively. That's a good example.
But now you have a regulation to back you up. Okay, so let's just use that for an example. We help auto dealerships in the Milwaukee area. And then what is it that you help them achieve? All right, so now we're not just going to say, oh, we help you with your IT. They're going to say, we don't need that. We've got somebody in-house that does that. We know someone that does that. My brother-in-law helps us with that. We don't need you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Okay, so we've got to think about what are the things that a business owner cares about. Raise your hand if you're a business owner and you care about money. Yes. If you're a business owner and you care about saving time. Yes. So business owners are going to care about, Ron's like, yep, got my hand up. So you care about money, time, clients, employee loyalty, employee retention, and your reputation. Those are the core things that business owners care about. So how are you going to articulate your message and what it is that you do that ties into these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things right here? Time, money, clients, employees, and reputation. So you can see an example right down here in the bottom. We here at ABC Tech, we help CPA firms, was actually the example in the bottom. We help auto dealerships in the Milwaukee area protect their data through our nationally recognized cybersecurity framework so that their clients remain happy and their profits continue to grow. All right, so we've specifically locked in what makes us stand out. We've said, hey, we're a nationally recognized cybersecurity framework. We have that we use. We do that so that their clients remain happy, so that their clients' profits continue to grow. All right. So you're going to take this framework and you're going to make this specific to your business. Okay. You're going to say, hey, what makes us unique? What makes us stand out? And how is it that we actually solve a problem for our clients? We're not just the person that they call up whenever they can't get logged into their Microsoft. Okay. That's great, but they're not going to want to pay $300 per seat for that. All right. And not to mention when they get hacked, that's not going to be the thing that protects them. And you're still going to be held liable for that most likely. Okay.
One really quick thing that I just want to add to this. We're going to have some people say to us, especially on the recording that are watching this on Facebook stream, whatever. Oh, but I'm not going to focus on just one niche. We're never saying focus your MSP on only one niche, but your marketing materials and who you speak to should be niche focused. So you look at how specific this is. At ABC Technology, we have helped automotive dealerships do this. There's a couple of main reasons for this. Number one, you're speaking to a specific niche and addressing their problems, just like we're doing on this webcast, right? It's a lot easier to build a list of decision makers and then target that specifically with your actionables versus blanket throwing stuff to everyone. So as an MSP, you'll take anybody that you can get, but your marketing message should be specific and your language should speak to the decision makers at those individual niches.
Absolutely. Great point. And even to speak to this example with the FTC right now, we have someone I'm thinking of right now in mind who's going through the marketing machine. Their niche that they had originally chosen to target was actually, I want to say it was manufacturers, because they're in an area that has a large manufacturing area. But now they're going to target CPAs because of the FTC stuff. So they said, hey, hold on, we're going to put a pause on this. And now we're going to start targeting CPAs because of this FTC stuff coming out right now. So you can absolutely pivot once you run your process, you get your foundation set up for one area, you can absolutely kind of switch gears. And we recommend you actually do this and then go and target your next area. Okay, so absolutely, you're not locked into one niche ever, and you can make informed decisions on what's going to work best for your area and your business. And if you have questions on this, put them in the chat. You have Chris and me right here, right now, and we can help you.
Yeah, actually, I'd kind of prefer you put them in the Q&A just for the record, because we're going to address those. We're going to address those one-on-one. We ask a lot of comments and they fly by in the chat, so we don't want to miss your question. So we'd like to answer it in the Q&A. So just put it in there.
Perfect. Thank you. I was looking at the little,
I got it.
The Q&A has the same symbol as the chat. It's like,
I know.
I was looking at that. All right, good deal. So, and I'm going to be talking about some things that some of our clients are doing, and you can kind of see examples as we go through this. You can see here that Bob was actually positioning his company as the go-to IT and cybersecurity company. And now he has a 2-year standing appointment to serve as the head of his chamber with over 700 members in it. And it's the tech committee. So really, really cool stuff whenever you're able to position your company as the go-to IT and cybersecurity company. Okay, so make a little post-it note, put it on your desk, say, I am the go-to IT and cybersecurity company. You have to believe it before anyone else can. All right, so let's shift gears. We are going to go into secret number 2. So we talked about, hey, Lindsay, I just don't know where to get the leads from. I'm dependent on referrals. Maybe I've got some SEO set up, but I really can't depend on that. And I just don't know where to start. Okay, so here's our tangible from this on how to fix this, things that you can go and do right now to help you improve this, help you to be able to turn that faucet on, turn that faucet off whenever you want for leads. All right, so Chris's motto for growing your MSP to 7 figures plus, so not just hitting 7 figures, but like we like to say, a 7-figure month, 7-figure deals, but for every 1 appointment in the book, so for every 1 FTA or first time appointment, you can write that down if you want. If you hear us or see us ever put FTA, that just means first time appointment. So for every 1 FTA on the books, there should be at least 10 more in the pipeline. What that does is that sets you up for success. That sets you up for the long haul, so that you're not showing up to these calls and sitting on the edge of your seat. And then whenever they give you pushback, you're like, all right, we'll cut the price in half for you. We'll give you a discount. That's why you want to have a line of people who are waiting to get in contact with you, so that you're able to show up to your calls, close those deals in a way that, hey, I know our worth. I know the stack that we're providing. The stack is the stack is the stack. Chris, isn't it funny how I've picked up on this language and what's in the stack is the stack is the stack, and you don't go budging, you don't go lowering your prices just because someone gives you pushback. So you've got a pipeline. That's what this is right here. All right, so here are some tools. Again, you can screenshot, you can write these down, either whatever you have to do, get these marked down so that you can use these. All right, linkedhelper.com is an addition to Sales Navigator on LinkedIn, where you can do targeted lists and automations to reach your ideal clients. Now, but wait a minute, let me give a disclaimer on this. Do not be the person that goes and sends cold messages to people on LinkedIn saying, hey, we're an IT company from here, and this, and we would love to protect you. They're going to say, thank you, but no, thank you. We already have someone. That is most likely not the thing that's going to work. All right. And that's why it's important to have the support, the step-by-steps, the playbooks to help you with this stuff. Okay. But you can definitely start looking at some of the stuff. You can reach out to us for help. You can definitely go ahead and start building these lists absolutely on your own. All right, we've got D7 Lead Finder. D7 Lead Finder is going to generate an actual, literally a CSV for you. It will give you company names, phone numbers, emails. What we recommend doing is actually cross-referencing your D7 Lead Finder list with your linked helper or with your sales nav list, because D7 doesn't give you names It's just going to give you the companies and the phone numbers, et cetera. But it's a really great way if you have a VA, a virtual assistant, or you can find someone on Fiverr, Fiverr, and they can actually help you clean those lists, verify those lists, making sure that you have up-to-date info.
Now, Lindsay, one of the things that we've definitely seen happen, not necessarily with members, but people that are out there in the field, is they're like, okay, I'm just going to go buy a list from, let's say, a trade show or something like that. And while that can be valuable, a couple of things that I will say with that. Number one, it better be niche focused and you better have good quality lists, because there's a lot of these, like every trade show that's out there, you'll get emails that are like, oh, you're a vendor at so-and-so, this, do you want to buy the attendees list? Or like, that's fine, but it's going to be all over the place. And the best lists are built, not bought. I will tell you that. We actively, and what I really like to do, find a niche, go on Sales Navigator, narrow down that niche. Some of the things you can do is look on LinkedIn, some ideal clients, look at the type of person they are, look at the decision maker, and look at the category that they're in on LinkedIn. And then you use basically Sales Navigator to build a list, and use Linked Helper to pull the leads down. And then you have a built list that's now you still have to clean it, like Lindsay was talking about. You can use Lead Finder, you can use Seamless.ai for that. There's a bunch of other ones that are out there, but this is the concept. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, that's a lot of work. Yeah, it's a bunch of work. Marketing is tough.
Being broke.
Yep.
Not getting your goal. That's a lot of work.
Yep. It's a lot of work. I get it. But I think I've said this a lot. That stuff's all hard. Yeah. Being broke is hard. Choose your hard.
Yeah, that's good. Right? That's so true. It's hard being stuck. It's hard staying in the same place for months or years, wondering why have I not grown? Why am I not there yet? What
really quick, let me just address this question that's in the comments. So Ari just said, so is Sales Navigator the go-to? It's like LinkedIn is really good because most people are on it. It's not always perfect. Okay. So is it a really good option to go out there? Again, the best lists are built, not bought. You got to look at your scenario. When you're looking at specific verticals, this is why you don't say, okay, I'm going to hit, like I live in Austin, Texas. The biggest zip code in Austin is 78704. Realtors buy zip codes like that, okay? Because who's their target? B2C. They're looking at people. I would specifically look at a vertical in an entire market like CPA firms or auto dealerships. Like you think of the auto dealerships is a really, really good one because CPA firms just seems like this big, broad thing. Well, we see car dealerships and we're like, oh, okay. How many people are they? How much stuff do I want? And who do I want to talk to? So it becomes much easier to build your list that way. Sales Navigator is a paid part of LinkedIn. It is built for that, but it's not your only thing. And you have to, and as with anything, as you start with this, you kind of suck in the beginning. And then as you get more better you get better and better and better. And it takes time. List building is an art. It is not something that you are going to, how do I say this? You cannot half-ass it because it all starts with the niche, but then right after the niche is the list. And if you half-ass the list, well, just think about it. I compare sales to dating a lot. I compare marketing to dating. Just imagine if you're like, okay, I'm going to go speed dating. And then you pick a speed dating group that doesn't speak your language.
Oh, yeah.
You're looking at each other, but you're basing each other strictly on one variable. And that's it. You can't even communicate this. So you got to think of it that way. It's so mission critical. Niche and list is your key starting points. And so many people just skip over this because they're like, oh, that's a lot of work, or I just don't buy this. It takes a lot of effort. And that it all starts with the niche, and it all secondarily right on top of that is it starts with the list.
Good stuff. This is good. All right, so save these, lock these in, and actually this is going to tie into like, what do we do when we get the list? We're going to be talking about that in the step 3. So hold tight if you're wondering, all right, Chris, I'm ready. I'm going to go put some time into this list. We're going to talk about what you actually do with that list, okay? All right, so let's get my mouse. There we go. Okay, so straight from the 7-figure MSP marketing machine, we've got Hunter over here who generated the list with almost 600 of his ideal clients, verified, cleaned, ready to go. So a few things that we sort of just talked about really quickly. What vertical am I targeting? what area, like literally what geographic region am I in, what zip code am I targeting, and then what's their annual revenue and company size. I like for our clients to always think about what's their revenue, like how much money are they bringing in? And the reason why you need to know that is because one, you need to know if they have an IT budget or how much their IT budget is that going to get you to the point to where you need to be at to confidently show up and service their company?
Hey,
Okay?
sidebar on that really quick. I don't mean to keep interrupting, but this stuff's all like hitting me in the face.
Go ahead.
Most MSPs, and I'm speaking to you guys that are out there in MSP land, your owners, never in your brain has it been, most MSPs don't have any idea what the revenue of their clients are, their prospects are. They have no clue. Second, IT budgeting historically from this point back, and Cindy and I talk about this on our sales strategy webinars the first Monday of every month, but historical going backwards, we've never thought about budgeting as a percentage of revenue. Those times are changing. You should be thinking of that now because cybersecurity and hacking and cybersecurity, most importantly, getting approved for cybersecurity insurance and getting a claim paid out mandates all of this stuff. And it may not be here or on your radar yet, but inside of our program, we have 700 plus MSPs and we are watching this happen real time around the world right now. This is a real deal. So be on top of it. Okay.
And that really should be a question that we are asking, which Cindy covers in depth, what kind of questions to be asking in those first time appointments, those discovery calls. But as their MSP, their IT and cybersecurity advisor, their partner now, that really should be a question that you are asking, in a respectful way, of course, so that you can help them come up with that budget, so that you can help them make informed decisions on their businesses. Okay. But we do that so that you know what their budget is, et cetera, and their company size. Okay. You need to make sure that one, you have the infrastructure to support those companies. So if I'm a one-person shop, I really don't think I'd have the boots on the ground, quote unquote, to hit, this huge company that has 500 employees. I probably don't have the bandwidth for that. Then okay, that's fine. You would say, all right, well, my ideal client is going to be the auto dealership. We'll go back there. We'll say the auto dealership in the 71710. I don't even know where that is. Whatever.
I'd say Milwaukee, since we were talking about Milwaukee.
Let's do Milwaukee.
In the Milwaukee market. Yeah.
There we go. In the Milwaukee market. And their annual revenue needs to be at least 1 million per year. And their company size is between 3 to 50, I would say. I'd say, okay, as a one-person shop, I could confidently handle that. They're going to have the budget for it at a 5% IT budget. I know that they would have that. They're making 1 million per year. I'm available for this area. That's my target vertical. Boom, done. Okay, if you have questions on this, put them in the Q&A. Now's your chance. All right, so here's a few examples. We help CPA firms in the DFW area between 20 to 40 and at least 750. So there's another example right there. All right, so wait, there's another piece of this when we just talked about building a list of individual ideal clients, but now we're going to talk about a cheat code, quote unquote, a cheat code of how you can actually increase your reach by thousands, tens of thousands, or even hundreds of thousands. And this is because you go from being in this lone wolf mindset, I have to do my thing, everybody around me is competition, I'm going to operate in my bubble and my bubble only, because maybe that's the way that you have for so long, that's fine. Now we've got the internet, we've got access to so many, like the world at our fingertips, and that's going to be part of your super duper, super awesome tool belt. That was super lame, but this is awesome that you guys have access to this now. But you don't have to do this alone. Okay, so that's where we bring in our Dream 100. And I am like geeking out on one of our guests for next week, Chris. I've already told you this like 3 times. I'm so excited about who this is. But it all ties in with literally what we teach in the marketing machine around your Dream 100. So instead of us only targeting the list of individual ideal clients, okay, I've got names and addresses and email addresses. That's great. But now we can start targeting the communities in which those ideal clients are hanging out. Okay. So for an example, if I was going to target the auto dealerships, I would start to think about, all right, what are the organizations? What are the hangout spots? What are the aggregators of where those auto dealership decision makers are spending their time and their money and their energy? What would you say, Chris? They're spending them maybe on car journals, like the car magazines. That'd be
Well, there's
one.
definitely some of that. And some of you guys are going to be like, well, local chambers. Yeah, but you're not aggregating only car dealers in that scenario. So think about, they all have an annual convention. I know in Milwaukee, there was the ADAM, ADAMM. It was the Auto Dealers Association of Mega Milwaukee.
Yep.
They had an annual conference. They also have quarterly events that you can go be a sponsor or a vendor at. So now all of your marketing stuff that you just made with that vertical and that niche in mind, with all the language that speaks to the decision makers, think of who's going to be at that event, car dealers, who's also going to be walking around there, the decision makers, or at the very least, the influencers to the decision makers, because they're talking about high level things. And if they know that you are specific to that, and that you're at this show, you've already been vetted in reality because you've been let in Adam's door. And Adam, again, is Auto Dealers Association of Mega Milwaukee. They were there for years and years and years. So it's a great example. And on the MSP side, we have our trade shows that we go to. So for example, coming up in fall here, early November, Seven Figure MSP will be an exhibitor in a pub crawl deal, and I'm speaking at IT Nation. So we're going to the Dream 100. One of our Dream 100 members is ConnectWise and their annual yearly show, IT Nation. And we do the same thing with Channel Pro and a bunch of these other things. So think about your specific vertical and the aggregators, the community aggregators that make that. That's exactly what that concept is. And every vertical has this stuff. It may not be all local, but for the most part, they're statewide. I was also a speaker and a regular exhibitor at the Wisconsin State Bar Association. So that was for attorneys and their annual show. So
Yep.
It's every main vertical has this stuff.
Yep, there you go. All right, so the way that you're going to leverage those platforms, those aggregators, those communities, and you have a few different options here, is one, through collaborations and or affiliates. So saying, hey, I am going, so let's just say, for an example, we talk about cybersecurity insurance a lot. So let's say you're going to partner with an insurance agent that sells cybersecurity insurance. That's important, that they sell cybersecurity insurance. You're going to partner with them and do a collaboration. And you're going to say, hey, let's go do a webinar together, just like this. You're going to be on screen. You're going to target, let's say, those auto dealerships about what they need to know, what you need to know about the upcoming regulations for auto dealerships. And that's going to be the name of your webinar. And so it's going to be you and the insurance agent coming together, talking about what these auto dealerships need to know about their coverage, how does their insurance going to change, what they need to know from a cybersecurity standpoint, and the steps to getting that implemented. And then you guys can set up a deal at the end that says, hey, anybody that signs insurance with us, we're going to refer to you, etc. Either way you decide to work that out, you're going to have access to their audience, to their communities, to whoever's on their list, whoever's paying attention to their content, their events, etc. You would get access to those communities. Okay, now the affiliates is similar, but this is more so of someone kind of selling your products for you, saying, hey, you can go and go to Chris's webinar that's happening next week, and then if they sign, you would send them a percentage, et cetera. Okay, so that's more of like a payout or a referral fee, which is actually number 2 right here. Referral partnerships are a little bit more structured. They're a little bit more organized. So rather than saying, hey, we'll send you a $1,000 gift card or $1,000 referral prize for anyone that comes on with us, this is more of like a partnership. This is saying, hey, I'm going to count on you to be sending me X amount of referrals per quarter. We're going to come in, we're going to do quarterly lunch and learns with you and your team. We're going to provide you with cybersecurity trainings. We're going to help you help us. And this is something that we actually cover in phase 2 of the marketing machine, because this can be a really, really cool setup. We have Josh and Derek. They are part of WOM, IT, and cybersecurity. They have actually set up to where they kind of gamify it with their referral partners. So they give them contests and stuff each month to get their referral partners to send them more referrals. So again, referrals are great, but this is only a part of the strategy. And then 3, you've got paid ads and targeting. So the reality of it is that whenever you go to build out your Dream 100, you've got this huge list of 100 communities. And you may be looking at that list and saying, Lindsay, how in the world am I ever going to target this huge convention? They want $50,000 to be a sponsor at their event. I just don't know how I'm going to do that. Well, insert paid ads and targeting. If we can't get into the room, well, then we can pay to play, aka we can target them through ads and targeting, geo-targeting, etc. Okay, so there's always an option to target the people on that list, but you have to have the list first to do any of these. Okay, so for you, we are going to go ahead and gift you a copy of our internal use. Our clients actually work on this inside of the marketing machine, our version of the Dream 100. And what I say by Dream 100, by our version, is that we have specifically given you the step-by-step on how to do this in your MSP. Okay, so you can use this link right here, 7figureMSP.com/Dream100. And if Tiffany, I think she's in here, if we can get that into the chat, that'd be awesome. I know it's kind of,
and then check it to confirm, make sure that the D is supposed to be capitalized or not. I can't remember if it's not. We use Bitly for our links, and sometimes it's a little bit tricky. But just so you guys know, Lindsay was talking earlier about why you're giddy about one of our guests. This happens to be me with that specific guest. This is, if you guys don't know what the Dream 100 book is, it comes out of the book called The Ultimate Sales Machine. It was written by a gentleman named Chet Holmes. This happens to be Chet's daughter, Amanda. So Chet passed away a few years ago, but his daughter is kind of carrying on his legacy, and she's speaking next week in Charlotte at our live event. Everybody that's there gets a copy of the brand new version of The Ultimate Sales Machine. So Amanda took that book, made a bunch of tweaks, a bunch of changes for 2022 and 2020 and beyond. And then everybody that comes next week in Orlando gets a free copy of that. And she's speaking on our day 2, doing a great little workshop. So I'm really excited about that too. And what was so cool about that, I met her at an event about a month ago. And I was like, hey, we should have you come, because we use the Dream 100 literally actively as part of our stuff. And she was so excited about it and so sweet. So very excited about that.
That's awesome. Yeah, didn't you just like walk up to her and you're
I literally just like, you know me, I just literally was like, hey, I'm Chris, what's up? And she goes, oh, well, hi. And we started talking, and it turned into her. She's speaking. Happens, it's nice when I can say, oh, I'm going to buy 300 copies of your book, but that goes along with it. So
yeah, that's awesome. I'm super excited for that. Okay, so make sure that you grab your Dream 100 right here. If you go to this website, you can opt in, quote unquote, and it will send it straight to your inbox. So it'll send it to your email. You can follow the directions on there and have a step-by-step on how to start leveraging your own Dream 100.
Yep. And those of you that are live with us on Zoom, Tiffany, our amazing ops director, just put a link in the chat for you guys.
Yeah, Tiffany is the rock star. She's the glue. I like to call her the glue for all of us.
She is the glue.
She's the glue. All right, so we've got some things here from a few of our marketing machiners, from Ron on finally getting the Dream 100 to work for him. I actually think we're going to have Ron speaking next week as one of our marketing machiners to show what's working right now at next week's event. So I'm super excited for that. We've got some other cool things that are happening right now in the marketing machines. You can see this here from actual members in the marketing machine. We've got workshops being co-hosted. We've got CSRAs that are coming from our target niche. So if you look down there in the second one, literally saying, hey, this is a client in my target niche. This was in my Dream 100, and this is an ideal client. Okay, then you can see over here on the right, this is another example of our Dream 100 working, of getting in front of our ideal clients, expanding our reach. Okay, so let's keep rocking and rolling it. Rocking and rolling. Here we go. We got secret number 3. We talked about being a little intimidated and just saying, all right, I get it. I know I need to be doing these things, but it's a little scary. I'm really not sure where to start. I know I need to take the cap off of my MRR. I'm ready to scale. I'm ready to grow. I'm ready to not necessarily trade my time for money anymore. I need to do these things. All right, I'm ready. Okay. And the way that we're going to do that, and here it is. Hey, I'm a little intimidated by the learning curve. The way that we're going to do that is through digital marketing. And there are, awesome programs out there. There's lots of cool stuff for MSPs, specifically around direct mail, around, doing stuff, not to say the old school way, but also kind of the old school way. Now you have so much automation. You have so many tools at your fingertips. It just takes us putting in the muscle in the beginning to set it up. Okay, it takes you showing up to these coaching calls. It takes you showing up, doing these really hard things, and then it's going to set up to help you scale. And CEO right over here, Chris, we love him. But anytime like the team internally, like if we have an idea on the team, Cindy and I were just talking the other day about some stuff, and Cindy is like, oh, wait a minute, you know what Chris says? We got to think about scale. And so it's like every decision that we make, it's always built for the scale. This is literally something that we embody right here inside of Seven Figure MSP. And so this is what you all have to start thinking about. If that's where you want your business to grow, if you want to be, 6-figure months, et cetera. Okay, does this set me up for scale? And digital marketing is going to help you do that. And when
I kind of tell Cindy all the time, and I said, you always got to, as we're working on these things, you have to think about, can I scale that? Like, that's the question that I have her ask. In fact, she has a sticky note on her screen now that says, are you overcommitting? Can I scale this? Yep. And one of the things that people do a lot because they like control is they like to get in this habit of, oh, let's just have a meeting. You kind of saw this with Jesse. We went through this. Jesse's one of our WiseTrack, our CRM manager. And every time he runs into a client that has an issue, he's like, oh, let's just jump on a Zoom. You can't scale that. Like, I don't care. Like, you only got so many hours. So let's bring it to a marketing office hours and teach everybody at once. So think about, like, I don't care where you're at in your MSP, if you're a decision maker, if you're a marketer, if you're a marketing assistant or a sales app or whatever, you got to think about, how can I scale this? And one of the things that I see a lot in traditional MSP marketing trainings, and I went through all this stuff too, is let's buy a list and let's send them out bulk mail en masse. Now, you can absolutely do this, but you're kind of like fishing in the dark a little bit with no bait, really, because, and I'm not going to say that there's not some decent stuff out there. All of it will work, but the only way to scale it is by throwing more money at it. That's the only way. So if you're sitting there saying, okay, I've been ordered to send out 5,000 direct mail pieces, I got to build, think about how much time and resources are into that, and you can't scale it. So you got to give people, and let's just go back, and I'm kind of stepping on Lindsay's stuff, but I get excited here. If you think about going back to the original secret, finding that niche in that vertical, building that list, then finding something they really care about. So let's think about Milwaukee market, car dealerships, narrow down. Now let's think about that pain point, FTC safeguards that we have. Okay, now we just found a really good market, a really good niche. You can do this in any market, by the way. I don't care where you're at. Now, you have to be a little metro to go car dealerships, but it still works. And then you say, let's build a lead magnet that we can push out digitally that really solves a problem they have. Maybe a checklist for your FTC safeguards, or a live webcast on, are you sure that you're ready for the FTC safeguards? And then you can push it out to that specific list. Now you can narrow it down. Now we're talking scale. Okay, I'll stop. Go.
I mean, carry on, please. You're doing a great job. This is good. No, it's actually, you're right. And what I was doing was I was looking up an email, and so I'm subscribed to Dan Kennedy's emails, and every single week they send out this like newsletter thing. And at the end of all of his emails, he says, P.S. don't forget, whoever can spend the most money to acquire a customer wins. And I like to think that whenever we are able to, one, choose the industry, choose the ideal client, narrow it down, have really good converting content, things that are drawing our ideal clients in, it's really not a matter of spending more money. Yeah. It's not. I think that we get to shortcut that. So that's what we're talking about here. It's not just,
and let's also not forget, like Dan is amazing. I got a bunch of books on my bookshelf right here from Dan. I saw absolutely. Dan in that same event that I met Amanda Holmes at. I talked to Dan for a little while at. He is the godfather of the long form sales letter, old school marketer. I'm not going to say, like, he would debate us all day on this, but his brain, I mean, Dan's also 70. Okay. So his brain is back in a time that we're not regular. And there's a reason Russell Brunson just bought his company, for the record. I don't know if you know that, but Russell Brunson bought his company, and Russell Brunson is the guy that created ClickFunnels, does a bunch of other stuff. I'm a ClickFunnels winner, blah, 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 all this other stuff. But it all comes down to, and now Russell doesn't spend the most money. Like, that's not how he thinks. In fact, Dan Kennedy told Russell in person, you're not a marketer, on stage. I was sitting there when he told him that. And I'll disagree. Like I'm a ClickFunnels fan and I'm a funnels fan and all this other stuff, but it's not just about how much money you spend now. It's about how you spend your money and
Yep.
being smart. Sure. I mean, if you want to blow cash like an idiot, green light, you're going to probably, maybe you'll win, but you may also run out of money. Which one you want?
Which one do you want? Mic drop. There you go. Right. So all that to be said is that, can we increase our conversion rates? How can we start talking about things? How can we start nurturing our ideal clients in a way that they care about, in a way that gets them to like make their radar, their ears go up and say, oh, wait a minute, I need to be in that webinar. I need that lead magnet. I need that thing that you have that gets me in your atmosphere. So an example, all of you right here on this webinar with us, watching this live cast, there was something that made your ears go, maybe I do need to be there. I do need to hear what they have to say, because we have the vertical, because we have the niche, because we solve problems. We talk about the things that, hey, we can help you with this, we can do this, and then we serve, then we do those things. Okay. So that's how you're going to scale. So here we go. A quote, kind of cheesy quote by Brendon Burchard: avoidance is the short-term strategy to escape conflict. So maybe you're not doing these things right now. You're just avoiding it because I'm going to escape. I'm going to not do the hard things, but it's also the best long-term strategy to ensure suffering. So nothing changes unless you change it, period. Okay. So what separates us here at Seven Figure MSP, and Chris is going to talk to you some more about this, so I'll go a little bit quick through this, but what separates us is that we commit to the scaling power of digital marketing. We break down the step-by-steps on how to set these things up for you. If it's the first time you've ever pressed the live button on Facebook, we're going to support you with that. Literally, there's a section for that in the marketing machine. If you've never built a list yourself and you said, Lindsay, I don't even know how to log on to LinkedIn, we literally teach you these things. Okay, so what separates us is that we know that these things work. We've done it, tried and true, both within the MSP market and outside of this industry and other industries, and then we help you get there. So this means building your email list, like we said, so having the lead magnets, the webinars, et cetera, building the list, driving traffic to your webinars, your master classes, your trainings, your things just like this, to where you're going to get the attention of your ideal clients. You're going to help them solve a problem. And if you don't know, if you have no idea what a lead magnet could be, or even what that means, put it in the Q&A. We're going to be getting to Q&A here soon. So feel free to put those questions in there as we move through this. But this means you building up your email list, driving traffic to your webinars, your master classes that you host or that you and a collaborator host, building a presence that keeps your business sustainable and scalable. Okay. So here we go. I've got a few tangibles for you. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go through these quickly, and then you can screenshot or write them down. So you want to update all of your social media. That's going to tell your ideal clients exactly what you want them to do. So do you want them to book that call with you? Do you want them to buy your best-selling book? Wink, wink. Those of our best-selling authors that are coming out in the next few weeks. Do you want them to attend your event that you're going to be speaking at? What is it exactly that you want your community to take action on? What do you want those people to do? You're going to go update your social media with that. Second, you're going to import your contacts into a CRM. Yes, you heard that right, a CRM. And Chris can speak to this even, but you want to take your contacts who are not your clients out of your PSA. Let's export them. Go press the nice little export button over there, and you're going to get them into a CRM. Now, your CRM is going to be differentiated from your PSA, because CRM also could be known as this genius term, your marketing relationship manager. This is where all your marketing activities are going to happen, where you can nurture, where you can market to, where you can build relationships with your ideal clients. I always recommend Wise Track, wink, wink, nod, nod. That's our CRM, aka MRM, here at Seven Figure MSP. This is a CRM that's specifically built for MSPs. We upload our content, our templates, etc. in there. We host trainings on this. That's what we recommend. But you can also use any other CRM that's out there, okay? Or any
and there's a couple of really decent ones too, like Wise Track CRM is ours that Lindsay just mentioned. There also is HubSpot. There's Keep, there's Close.io, there's Pipedrive. There's a bunch of them that are out there. The bottom line is, here's what I'll tell you. MSPs are kind of taught by the vendors of the RMM and PSA tools to manage all your contacts. And I was a ConnectWise guy. I'm still a ConnectWise guy. We recommend ConnectWise Manage, and I like it a lot. But they want you to run your leads out of ConnectWise Manage. And it's not meant for that. I'm sorry. It's not meant for that. So for years, and I'll go to bat with all the ConnectWise people on this because, hey, I want you managing your clients in your professional services automation tool, your PSA, but you should not be managing your leads in there because the tool doesn't do the same stuff. So your leads should go, any prospects, leads, anything should go into your MRM or your CRM. And then any clients get managed in your PSA or your RMM/PSA. There's a bunch of them that are combo. So like Ninja and Synchro and a couple of these other ones, Atera, they're combo PSA RMM. That's where your clients get managed. Everything else inside of your CRM tool.
Perfect. All right. And then last, begin sending those contacts in your CRM a weekly newsletter. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, doesn't have to be anything professionally written, but keeping them up to date on things that are going on, simple steps, tips that they could start implementing, and a call to action. If you ever hear the word call to action, or if you see the words the letter CTA, that means what is it that you are telling people to go do. So for an example, at the end of that newsletter, you would say, hey, first name, did you hear about the breach at the XYZ University just a few miles away over the weekend? Here's what you need to do to help ensure that doesn't happen to you and your company. Step 1, update MFA. Step 2, step 3. Okay. Hey, did you hear that we're doing a webinar in 2 weeks? We're going to be teaching you how to secure your business, the 3 steps to secure your business and train your employees. Okay. Click here to sign up for our webinar. So that's your call to action at the end of that newsletter. What's the very next thing you want those ideal clients to take from that, from the place that they are right then? Okay.
Yeah. Really quick on that before you go forward, Lindsay. Somebody just asked in the chat, is weekly a bit much? Now, here's what I want to tell you to this. There's never such thing as too much valuable content. Now, the key word there is valuable. If you're just putting out a bunch of fluff that has nothing but technical tidbits and crap that the client doesn't value, absolutely, it's too much. But if you're putting out real valuable content that they care about, now the real valuable content, this is where MSPs really struggle, because let's think about, where did MSPs start? They started as tech people, usually. Very few. In fact, I did onboarding today. One of the calls was, do you actually know of any MSPs that didn't start as a tech company? I think we have 1 or 2, and all of our clients, we have 1 or 2 that started as a business investment or a business side mindset. So you have to think about your specific verticals, and you can easily say in your weekly newsletter, hey, this week we are doing a webinar for car dealerships based on your FTC safeguard needs. Next week, it's for CPA firms. Here's what you need to protect your CPA firm from getting certified, or that kind of stuff is the valuable content you have to put out there. I have multiple newsletters that I'm in that are daily newsletters. And the other thing, most people have taught us that once a month is enough. Once a month is honestly, you're so far off of thought, mindset, process from your prospect. All you're doing is be like, oh, okay, there's that once a month newsletter I get. So if it's going to be a print newsletter, maybe monthly. If you're going to do an email newsletter, which we're exclusively email in my coaching program now, we email out about every 2 days. And it's all this different stuff that we're doing. We have weekly emails that go out to our clients. Nobody unsubscribes, guys. It's valuable. As long as, the keyword again, it's got to be valuable.
Yep. Agreed. Somebody said the weekly emails will get old. Well, maybe if your emails suck. No offense, but maybe, yeah. So that's why you've got to be delivering value, and also kind of pointing out what are the pain points with your ideal clients, so that it keeps them on the edge of their seat, keeps them opening up your emails, because they're like, oh, I need to read this so that I can stay ahead, so that I can learn this thing, because I need to know this. And this is the go-to IT and cybersecurity expert that's emailing me. Okay, so it's all working together here. So it's all these pieces are starting to fit together now. Okay. All right. So a quick look into, and I've got to move fast through these as we are running through time here, but a few things are happening in the marketing machine right now. We've got Liam over here working on his Dream 100. He's actually doing some market research calls. We've got a packaging company that was signed at 5 years at 338 per seat. Why does my mouse keep doing that? There we go. Okay.
It's because it's a Mac. It's because why it's a Mac.
I know. All right. We got 4 first-time appointments in under 2 weeks. We close 4 endpoints at $1,000 per month. We've got 24-month contract, 2-user law firm, all the good stuff, marketing machine, 15K project, 3,600. Oh, and notice that over there, dentist offices, another hot niche if you're doing it right. So good stuff. All right. Oh, we've got another page. Okay, here we go. Boom, boom, boom. All right, we've got Mike and his team getting a paid speaking gig. Like, how cool is that? At a conference that's coming up. Danny Taylor, first-time appointments, another paid speaking gig here at.
I got to say, the paid speaking gigs are the best thing you can do ever. Even if they're not paid, like, it's great to be a paid speaker, but hey, if you're my fastest place to getting notoriety in an industry is getting on stage in front of those people, even if you have to pay for the speaking spot. I'm at IT Nation speaking, I'm paying for the speaking spot. That happens a lot. So don't think that it's outside of the realm of being an MSP that you're going to go to the Wisconsin State Bar Association, if you're in Wisconsin, obviously, and be a paid speaker there because you had a booth. They vet you. You automatically become some level of expert by being on their stage. Even if they know that you're a paid speaker, they don't care. You've been vetted. So think about that as well.
They don't let just anyone onto the stage, just like we don't.
Exactly. Yep.
All right. So why are they seeing results? They are embracing done over perfect. So Chris, I think you said this in the beginning. You were like, hey, it's perfect, it's done. And that's absolutely.
I said the only, like, kind of my way of saying is like the only thing better than perfect is done.
There you go. There we go. So all of that to be said is that we don't want to get bogged down into getting at like the little tiny pieces of your marketing plan absolutely perfect, because the truth is it will never be perfect. Marketing is never, ever, all right, I'm just going to set this thing up one time and then leave it alone forever. I'm going to set it up one time. I'm going to run it for a little bit, see if it works. I'm going to go back and make tweaks. I'm going to go back and make changes. So even the first time that you do something and you do it really well, you're still probably going to have to go back and make some optimizations to it. Okay. But these clients are working the process. They're committed. They show up to the coaching calls. That's like number one. They keep coming back to marketing open office hours. They come into sales open office hours. There's no magic pill, no fairy dust. They are committed. They embrace stamina. So meaning that they just keep chugging along whenever it feels tough, and they lean into their community for support. All right, so Chris, it's back on you. You've got the mic and you can take it from here.
Love it, love it. Okay, so a couple quick things. First of all, I want to thank Lindsay for that. Such good content, so much fun to do that stuff. And just every time we talk about these different things, brings out all these different ideas in my head, and it kind of flashes me back to when I was an MSP owner. But even still, it's just unbelievable how much this whole market is changing and all these different things. So a couple quick things before we get into our Q&A here. And if you guys have questions, please put it in the chat. And yeah, somebody just sent me messages, our vacuum running. Yeah, so my cleaning people that are in my house, we're supposed to be here at 9 a.m. They showed up at 2:30. Yeah, not happy, but it is what it is. So we gotta make do. I'm sorry. So it is what it is. So anyway, where we're different here in our program, and again, we'll talk about Q&A in a few minutes. We teach you how to fish. You see that there's a lot of concepts that we talk about. It's not just hand you a 3-ring binder and expect you to go to work. It's here's the concepts behind it. Again, let's not forget, we talked about sales in the beginning. We teach you how to sell a different way. And we're in a different place in this market now. And when I say the market, I don't care where you are in the world. It's the MSP cybersecurity market. You are now expected. I don't care what kind of MSP you are. If you have, we manage your IT, so you can manage your business. We handle your IT problem. If you have the word IT or technology or MSP anywhere, you are fully and 100% expected by insurance companies, by multiple regulations, and legislation is coming with this to be their cybersecurity shop, meaning the liability is going to stop with you. So you have to hit. Now, while we have to protect our liability and do some things on the back end, that also with liability comes opportunity. And that opportunity now is to go in and be the smoking gun, to not have to worry about ROI. Oh, but Chris, my client tells me that I have to provide ROI for all their different stuff. I understand. Let me ask you this. How many businesses have business liability insurance? Everybody has that, right? What's the ROI on business liability insurance? Hopefully what? Hopefully zero. We don't want to have a disaster. In the next 6 to 9 to 12 months, every business is going to be mandated to have cybersecurity liability insurance. And our opportunity is going to be to get in front of that to make sure that they get covered, because there's going to be people that get denied. There's going to be claims that get denied. Claims are already getting denied. So our job as MSPs now is moving from we're just your break fix project IT tech help shop to we are going to do our best. And Chris Krebs, you mentioned him earlier, Lindsay. Chris Krebs is a cybersecurity expert that worked in Washington. He was on our stage in Charlotte. He specifically says on our stage, every business should have an MSP. And MSP's jobs now are to limit the blast radius, help control the recovery, and do our best to make sure their insurance claim gets paid because they're all getting hacked. Which side you're going to be on it. But again, with liability comes opportunity. That's where we sit. And where we're different with all of this stuff, not only on the marketing, but on the sales side, is we teach you how to fish. We help you find those honey holes, all this other stuff to make it all done. And we're not doing done for you. We're teaching you the right way to do it instead of just tossing you out in the ocean. So our job, my job specifically, along with my team, Lindsay, Cindy, Ryan, Jesse, Tiffany, all the rest of the people that are on our staff, Industry Vision, way ahead of the crowd. We've been doing this discussion for 3 years, talking about cybersecurity. We're also hyper responsive to the market and very execution focused. So we're going to teach you the right way to sell, making you, and note, our $250 to $300 per seat number is gold by giving you an 80% profit margin. That's best in class in this world. So if you're an MSP sitting on the other side of this, watching this, look at those numbers we talked about earlier. Most MSPs actually don't know their math until they get to about $1 million, maybe $1.5 million a year. They don't start looking at the financial the real guts behind it. And they haven't said, okay, this is how profitable we are. But the average is about 15%. Okay. After all is said and done, you're making about 15%. It should be 80%. It's a very profitable industry if you charge right, but you have to do it right. And we focus on focus itself. We focus on focus. We focus on focus. We focus on execution, and we focus on no excuses. And you have to do the work. And if it doesn't feel right, that's okay. You can walk away. Our job is to give you as much info as we can. Okay, let's pop into the Q&A. We got a ton of questions in here. And if you guys have any other questions besides, is there a vacuum running there? Yes, there was a vacuum running. I apologize. I just was texting my wife. I'm like, tell them to turn the vacuum off till I'm done, please. But okay, so Fred asked, our problem is moving our clients from outsourcing block of time agreements to the MSP model. So here's what I'll tell you, Fred. First of all, I'm going to give you a webinar that I want you to go watch. And if you go to, in fact, hold on, let me bring this up really quickly here. And I'm going to give you a URL. If I can move this here. This is our strategy replay session. I'm going to put this in the chat for you guys, for everybody. This is my webinar that I did with Cindy about a month ago. It's our strategy replay session. And it's a replay of the webinar we did, I think, 2 weeks ago today. But the whole concept here is, number one, break fix and IT outsourcing block of time agreements are amazing. Cindy Phillips, our head sales coach, calls them paid leads, 100% behind it. But we're in a place now where you can't just do that. Can't afford to do that. You can't live in that world because of the liability behind it and all the different pieces. But you can absolutely use those call-ins, those referrals, because most of those, Lindsay, we haven't even talked about that, but most of the referrals that come in are for, hey, so-and-so's computer broke, or so-and-so needs a firewall reset. Think of the liability now with touching that firewall. Mm-hmm. So at every road, now you can do that work. Got to have a master service agreement or your terms of service, whatever that is, with your liability removed or massively limited in those scenarios, should be signed before the project starts. Old days, it was like, sure, we'll do it when we invoice them. Those days are over. You can't do that anymore. So you have to put that there, but you do the work, master service agreement, do the work, then lead them to a cybersecurity risk assessment. Our recommendation is a paid CSRA, cybersecurity risk assessment. All of our members, for new prospects, their goal is to go into their FTA, their first time appointment, and their goal is to teach the prospect why they should have one. So think about this in the car dealership world that we talked about earlier. Somebody bites on, hey, we have our FTC safeguard checklist, blah, blah, blah. And they said, well, okay, so we'd like you to come out and reset our Reynolds and Reynolds firewall. And that's a car dealership dealer management system is what that is. So you go out there and they usually have mainframe run. It's all by IBM crap and all this other stuff. So they want you to come out and do this, reset their Cisco or something like this. And then you're like, okay, well, we should sit down with our decision makers and all roads lead to this is why you need to have this. And your job at that meeting is to say, you should have a cybersecurity risk assessment. Well, why do we need that? We've never had that in the past. I understand. Times have changed. We have to do things differently. You obviously clicked on our stuff for our FTC safeguards checklist we had. So we have to go down this path because we can't see we can't prescribe anything if we can't diagnose. And that's got to be the mindset now. It's not letting the client dictate the path. It's teaching them that here's why you need this. And then you use the cybersecurity risk assessment to present all of the pain. Here's the stuff you have. Here's what's at risk. We've done an ethical hack on you. And here's where we sit. What do you think? And by sharing that, and Cindy and I call that the shared bond of competence. That shared bond of competence leads them to a path where they're like, holy crap, look at how exposed we are. When people are emotional, their price objection barrier goes down. We use that opportunity as to say, how do you want to manage your risk? Do you want us to help? Yes, we want you to help. Okay, well, here we go. Here's our presentation. Here's our proposal. And also, by the way, part of our CSRA was we looked at your cybersecurity insurance scenario and we looked at your application scenario. You're not even going to pass to get cybersecurity insurance or your renewal if you don't have all this stuff in play. So you're welcome to sit where you're at, but here's where you're going to be in 3 to 6 months. And it's not scaring them. It's not scare tactics. Some MSPs talk to me about scare tactics and FUD, that fear, uncertainty, and doubt. I understand if you go in there and say your whole world's going to burn down if you don't put this in, that's one thing. But showing facts and showing them the reality, this is especially true in Australia because they can't use scare tactics to sell. It's illegal to do that in Australia. All we're doing is showing them where the risk is. Here's how many plain text passwords you had in your Chrome. Boom. How do you want to manage it? Because this is what the hackers are going to take. And Australia's got bit real bad in the last couple of months here because they've had multiple massive breaches and they are number one on the attack list because they've been so far behind. So much of this is using that which break fix, IT outsourcing, any of these other things are great to move them up your ladder. Now, if you don't know how to do that, that's where our sales coaching, that's what we do in our sales coaching side is we teach you how to sell a different way. So Fred, hopefully that answers your full question. If you got any other things, put that in there, but I just answered that line for you. Okay, so next question here. And again, if anybody's got any other Q&A stuff, please put this in the Q&A because the chat flies by and we lose stuff. So our next question is from Jennifer. More MRR without exchanging time for money makes complete sense. I'm hoping this might be a reasonable example and would love your feedback. It's the longest question I've had, but we're going to go through it. My company partners with MSPs to deliver end user training in the Microsoft 365 productivity apps. I'm working on a version of training as a service, but I'm not sure how to create my pricing model or how to find MSPs who are in the right place. So this is more of here's what I would say, Jennifer. I think we should maybe talk about this sidebar because that's more of a vendor side type question. I definitely have some avenues. There's multiple MSP vendors that are out there right now. In fact, Breach Secure now has a full training as a service. They are more a cybersecurity training as a service module. They call it their Employee Secure Score, ESS, and then they sell to MSPs a full security training module. So Jennifer, why don't you do this? Tiffany, can you send Jennifer my email and then just on a DM in Zoom, and then we can reach out to her, okay? All right, next question is from Walter. Is the monthly cost for one person or do you train? Oh, so he's answering Jennifer's question. So a couple of things that I will say with that, guys, is first of all, you're going to see over the next few months, you're going to see cybersecurity insurance firms, which are going to be your overall underwriters. You're going to see them, they're going to be the ones that start mandating cybersecurity training for end users. They're trying, because what's happening in businesses just don't care, but what's the weakest link that all companies have? It's all their staff, and it's the lack of education that they have. So you're going to actively see MSP clients, everybody that's out there in the public sector, or sorry, the private sector, I guess in that scenario, everybody that's out there in the private SMB, your small business sector, is going to be in a space where they have to train their clients. The clients have to deal with this. And it should be part of your MSP stack, and you should get in front of it. The cybersecurity conversation is the conversation for that, period. It is, because it's going to teach the decision makers the why. Because if you just say, hey, you need cybersecurity training, they're not going to care. They're just checking a box. You have to make sure that they have it on their radar and they actually get it. Otherwise, it's going to be a total waste of time. So think about all that stuff. Okay, there we go. All right, I think we're good on questions right now. Lindsay, you got any questions that came up for you?
Nope, that sounds good. And I think that I'll even add to that around making it a reason why they need that. That comes back to your ideal client and of knowing what message is going to hit, what message is going to resonate with your target market. So all of those things tie in together.
Yeah, and a couple of quick things that are just going on in the chat. Steve said sales should not do assessments unless they are well trained. I absolutely 100% agree with that. Like, you should actually we have a full suite of tools that we include with our program. It should not be just shooting from the hip, and it surely should not be like, you can't do an assessment unless you're fully getting in. In fact, I did a lunch and learn with one of our leading MSPs in our program, Brian Horning from Exact IT in Philadelphia. They do 30-day risk assessments. That's how long they take to do their risk assessments. They're always paid. And the concept is, we're going to ethically hack you. Salespeople can't do that. So it should be done that way. And you can't just, again, we have 7 tools in our suite, not just one tool. So you got to be thinking about this. I understand your company may have been told to use one tool specifically by one vendor. Nope, it should be multiple tools, because I don't care how good they are. They're not good enough. Okay, keep that in mind. Okay, I'm going to keep going here. We got prizes coming up in a minute. I just want to talk really quick about our 7-figure MSP Inner Circle program. Using our system that we have, our 7-figure MSP clients are doubling their MRR in 12 months or less. I got a couple quick case studies for you. Brett Gallant is a great example. He's from New Brunswick, Canada, small town, high upper northeast in Canada, United States, above in North America. He started our elite program June of 2021 with 700 endpoints. Now he's at 70K MRR with just under 400 endpoints. So he cut some people that didn't want to fly into cybersecurity, increased his revenue, and massively changed his life, because he's got about 2/3 of the endpoints, not even that, about just over half, I guess I'll say, probably 5/8 the endpoints, and over double the MRR. So we completely changed Brett's life, because he's been able to focus on other things. In fact, he was on onboarding this morning, and we're talking about acquiring other break fix shops near him so he can use them to do all of his break fix lead gen, that he can then go in and sell them stuff. Like, that is a huge opportunity. And look at that. That's a change of mindset. Here's Bob Mitchie. Bob was on the call with us today, and Bob was an example. Bob started back in November of 2020. He's doubled his MRR in about 2 years. Mark Enzor is in Tucson, Arizona, another smaller community, about 1 million people, not a huge community, but kind of a good old boys club. And I specifically got Mark because I said, hey, I'm looking for some Tucson MSPs, because I have a couple of guys in Tucson that told me they can't grow using our program. Well, he's added $60,000 of MRR. He's way over that now. This is from a couple of months ago. Michael Young's in Dallas, started at 60K, currently at 110. Danny Taylor, another guy in Canada, break fix shop, started at 00 computer stores, $0 of MRR, now at 23,000, all $3,000 and $4,000 deals. Meanwhile, the computer store, creating him leads on the fly to actively work with all the time. He's one of our marketing machine members. Greg Bledsoe in Houston, he's over doubled his MRR. Howard Globus in the hardest market in the United States to sell. He's in Manhattan, was at 165, currently at 220. Like, she's above that. I think he's about 240 right now, Howard is. I just saw him the other day. Also, Dan DeFay from Alabama was at 32K, now at 67K. We're seeing a pattern here, right? We see guys that are actively doubling. Those are just the ones that I asked, that I knew were out there. I know we have many more. So let's talk a little bit about what the right community can do for your business. Our coaching program is 7-figure MSP Inner Circle Elite. It is a full sales, like in sales first. Then we teach you how to market coaching program to get your MSP to 7 figures and beyond. I have MSPs that come to me and say, hey, Chris, I'm already did $1 million. I guess I don't work. Now we got clients that are 6, 7, 8, 10. I think we got a $14 million a year company using the same concepts and the same coaching to grow and double. This is a real thing that's actively happening. So our full sales and marketing coaching comes with our 10X MRR sales system, our full Lindsay coached MSP marketing machine, along with sales and marketing open office hours every single week. You get a founder's call and an all hands call live with me every single week, along with our sales process, our full onboarding live. Also, after you graduate from our sales coaching, you go into our marketing machine, you get that full marketing onboarding process live with Lindsay and her team. Along with, and here's a bunch of different templates. This is more on the sales side, but I just want to show you guys this out of the box. Our full cybersecurity sales presentation is included. Our full cybersecurity sales proposal template also included, along with our risk acceptance letter. What this is, you're working with a break fix client. We had some people that were talking about this earlier, or an existing client. You do your whole cybersecurity presentation. You do the CSRA. We call that running the play. You run the full play, and they're like, nope, we want to stay where we're at. Okay, that's fine. Here's our risk acceptance letter. You're going to get hacked. We just informed you when you get hacked, we'll still service you at the same rate you're at. But when you get hacked, here's how we're going to service it. And here's what we're going to do. This is a liability limiter for you. We've told you you're going to get hacked. We've told you you need to add more tools. Best we can do right now. We'll help you, but it's releasing, kind of washing our hands of it. And this has already gone through. Just note, guys, that risk acceptance letter has gone through a massive $135,000 cash business email compromise that got wired to Russia and passed with flying colors all the way past the insurance underwriters, and they put the blame completely back on the client. So we know this thing works. All this stuff has been written by our cybersecurity council. We also have our master service agreement and statement of work templates included, our cybersecurity incident response template included, along with, if you want higher level support, discounted access to our ultimate MSP contract pack. All that stuff is included in our elite program. We also give you process structure and tools. So we talked a little bit earlier about the risk assessment, the cybersecurity risk assessments. We give you our full system along with the 7 included tools. We're working on a brand new one right now that we're going to be adding on top of that, that does insurance evaluation and all those things. And now she's outside my door vacuuming. Like, really? Anyway, somebody's going to get beat when I'm done with this. But we also have our full 7-figure MSP hiring machine included. And now we're going to move into the marketing tools. So we talked earlier about WiseTrack CRM. So we include our full MSP CRM with training and coaching included, along with 100+ marketing campaigns and monthly client newsletter templates. Our email nurture software that is included in WiseTrack, and our full MSP website included in that as well, along with multiple other bonuses and vendor discounts. We have all kinds of vendors. We're adding new vendors all the time and new discounts all the time. Over $25,000 in monthly savings all included, along with VIP seating at our live events. We talked about our Orlando event next week. Every quarter we do a live in-person event. So we got our Orlando event literally next week. I think we're 100% sold out on that now. We're going to have over 300 MSPs in Orlando at the Gaylord. Really excited about that. Got Dickie V, got Amanda Holmes, got a bunch of other really cool things going on. So Chris, what's the next step? You guys saw all the things that we included in our Inner Circle coaching program. Here's kind of the stack of stuff that we have, over $13,000 a month in value. But I want to ask you before we kind of move past this, are you a fit? So first of all, I've kind of 5 qualifiers that we work on. First of all, you have to be an MSP or break fix IT services shop. So you kind of got to be a fit for what we do. Let's focus on, again, look at our niche. Look at the stuff we're working on. MSPs, you could be an MSSP, I guess, if you're coming in and don't want to learn how to do this a little differently. But you should have at least $12,000 in recurring current monthly revenue. Now that can be contract revenue, can be break fix revenue. The bottom line is we want to go back and just like Fred asked earlier, what about my break fix clients or my IT services? We just want you to have somebody to go back to, because this is how we're going to get you your ROI really quickly. We're going to help you with your existing liability. We're going to help you close some deals in the program right away. Most of our clients, like 85% of our clients, close the deal in the first 30 days. And it also allows you to practice. We're going to practice on your existing clients that already know you, like you, trust you, in order to get ready for the big game, which is your new prospects, your car dealerships, your dentists, your 75-seat orthopedic clinic. Those guys are the ones that you need to be ready for, because it's much harder to close a deal to a new prospect than it is to somebody that already knows you, likes you, trusts you. Okay. But here's your probably most three important things. You're willing to set aside time to work on this. You have to be friendly and coachable. And most importantly, you're willing to work on your business versus in the trenches. Now, this is especially hard for MSP owners because they're used to working in the trenches. So some of this is a brain shift. You got to shift here before you can shift in the money pocket side, right? In the wallet. Really important stuff. So my special offer for you today, 12 months of our Inner Circle Elite Coaching Program. It is $1,750 a month. Again, really, really solid stuff, massive results. I'm going to go through my guarantee in a minute. But one quick thing that I have for you guys, if you book your call right now from this webcast, I'm going to include a couple of bonuses. In fact, I have 3 bonuses for you. Every quarter, Lindsay and I do our 2-day marketing machine boot camp. We do that. We're going to be kind of traveling in 23 on these, but in 22, they were here in Austin, Texas, live and in person here. It's a $5,000 value. You can see we had a bunch of people in here learning. We got Lindsay out there on the floor. I think that was the day. Yeah, Lindsay's teaching in heels. See that? You guys see that bottom picture? She's teaching in heels. And I'm like, you are crazy for doing that. The next day she shows up in sneakers. So she learned her lesson. It was great.
Actually, that was the first event. I didn't even bring sneakers to that one. I had to get
that's right. You're
from
right.
Tiffany. Thankfully, Tiffany, our glue, again, like the house mom, had Band-Aids.
Yep, I love it. But also, first night we do a private dinner here at my house. We're going to do a little bit different stuff probably in 23, but we're going to do one more of these events here in 22. That'll be here in Austin. And then at my house, we'll do the evening event. So another cool value. And those are pretty fun. So we come over to my house, we got a pool, we throw a cornhole, we have drinks, we have dinner, a lot of fun, a lot of different stuff. And then one last thing is a very special bonus. If you book your call today with us, you just have to book your call to get reserved into these things. Don't have to sign anything, all that. You got to do is book your call. If and when you sign into our elite coaching program, we will give you our custom white glove migration. We had a bunch of questions earlier about which CRM to use. Most MSPs don't have one. So we'll help you set that up white glove. We'll help you convert things, all the leads over from your PSA. Or maybe you have Infusionsoft or Keep or HubSpot or Close.io or Pipedrive or any of those other things. But we'll do that totally for free for you as part of the program. That is a $2,000 bonus as well. So again, all that stuff that's included, that $13,000 a month, plus the other values of your $9,000 a month and the other 10. So we got that $13,000 a month plus another $12,000 in bonuses for you guys. All you have to do is book your call from today's webcast. And if you do that and you choose to not, there's really no risk because you just come on that call. And the other really cool thing is by coming on that call, we give you a $50 Amazon gift card. So you really have no risk on that call at all. All you have to do is show up on the call, complete the call. You get a $50 gift card along with all the other bonuses if you guys do decide to sign with our program. And again, we have over 700 MSPs in our program. We have 200 plus that come to our live events. And these live events are just amazing. And we have so many wins and so much stuff going on. And in fact, not only do I believe so much in what we teach, I have a complete custom 30-day money back guarantee if you participate in all the work and attend the calls. Now, what you cannot do, you can't just buy the program for 1 month, take all the stuff and then bail. I will not allow that. We've never run into that, but I'm just telling you, I've seen this happen with a couple other programs. But so you do have to come on the calls. You have to actually do the work. It's kind of like I'm going to hire a personal trainer. And then in the first 30 days, I didn't get in the best shape of my life and rip, but I didn't do anything. And I'm going to blame the trainer. It doesn't work that way. You have to kind of be in the mindset of, okay, I went through the stuff. I'm going to see no ROI. It's not worth it. Chris and Lindsay are nuts. You know, that's true, but that's not different level of nuts.
That's
or
part
won't
of the
work in your
magic.
market. Yeah, right. I will refund your money in full. No questions asked. Note, in 5 years of doing this 7-figure MSP program, thank God the vacuum has stopped. In 5 years of doing the 7-figure MSP program, I've never used this. I had one guy, and it's not because I haven't. I'll do it. If you don't think my program's worth it, but all we have is happy clients because the stuff actually works. Now, again, you have to do the stuff, but it does work. So, okay. That being said, here's how you book your call, and we're going to do some prizes. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to leave that up here. Tiffany, if you could do me a favor, throw the URL with the HTTPS in the chat for anybody that's here. You guys can click on that. Here's how you win your prizes. So we got 2 different things we're giving away. We got a ton of people still live with us. You guys that are watching on Facebook, sorry, you have to be on the Zoom call. We do these every month. You're welcome to come back next month if you want to do that. But if you want to win the prizes, here's what you have to do. Again, people on the Zoom are the only ones that can win this. What's one thing that you learned today that you can take and put into your business as an actionable? Lindsay gave you multiple actionables. We had a bunch of off-script stuff that Lindsay and I were talking about that were good ideas as well, from the FTC safeguards to the dentist stuff to all kinds of different things. But what is one thing? And you have to put this in the chat because we're going to be selecting one of you chat responders that are live with us on Zoom. What is one thing that you can actually take as an actionable and put into your business right now that you learned on this webcast today? Got questions coming in. Got pick a vertical. What were you saying, Lindsay?
There's lots of them coming through. I just saw them all come through at like one time.
Yep. Fred said start with a cybersecurity assessment. Always, Fred. That is mandatory. You cannot think about any industry that we're in. We go to the doctor. Hey, my chest hurts. He doesn't just say, here, take these pills. They say, I got to do an exam. You go to the chiropractor, got to do an exam, got to take some x-rays, go to the dentist, got to do an exam. But for some reason in this world, because MSPs are fix-it people and we're people pleasers, start getting in there with your tools and you start messing with stuff. You have to diagnose before you can prescribe. Mission critical now, especially now because of all the liability we're faced with. Okay. Man, some huge questions here. I love the idea of collaborating on webinars to mutually build new business. Jeff said, get a list for the vertical, build list of ideal clients from Steve, use a vulnerability assessment from Scott. Bob said, be the go-to expert. Ty said, list building is an art. You cannot half-ass it. And note, guys, some other things that I do. Lindsay, I'm sending Lindsay Twitter threads like twice a week, 3 times or 4 times a week. Because I'm on Twitter like, blah, 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 blah. Go out and find some stuff that you want to see on Twitter's a literally untapped resource for all this knowledge, because you can search for certain things like list building. And all of a sudden, when you do this and you go ahead and do a couple of likes on Twitter, you'll be targeted with all these really good content pieces. Like I stumbled across instantly.ai. I sent you some of that stuff, Lindsay, for Instantly. It is a mind-blowing new cold email prospecting tool. We're going to be doing a bunch of new stuff with this. We're putting it internally. I'm kind of getting ready to test it. So all kinds of different stuff. Okay, so we got our winners here. You guys killed with it. Kelly also said I don't know if it's Kelly or Kel. I think it's Kelly. Said the actionable sentence was helpful also. So much good stuff. Lindsay, you killed it today as usual. Okay, so we have our 2 winners. Here we go. Our $100 gift card winner. Was it 150 or 100? I think it was 100 for the second.
It was 100 and then 500.
Yep, Tiffany's got it all out of whack. She's typing stuff in the backdoor chat. It's like the numbers are all off, and that's fine. I got it.
No, she's not probably doing 1,000 other things, right?
She's definitely is, yeah. Steve Condit is our $100 gift card winner. So congratulations, Steve. Do me a favor, Steve. Send to the hosts and panelists in the chat your email address. I know we have it because you registered, but I'm watching the chat here, but it's easier to get it because Tiffany's on here live with us. So to the hosts and panelists, Steve, send your email address and Tiffany will do that. That's Steve Condit. And our $500 gift card goes to Kelly White. That was $250. Yeah. Kelly White wins our $500 gift card. Congratulations, Kelly. Kelly also send she goes, what? I won. I never won. I hope that's a girl. I don't know. I'm sorry if you're a guy. But congratulations, you guys. Kelly, do me a favor. Send your email address to the hosts and panelists in the chat, and we will get you a Amazon $500 gift card, and for Steve, a $100 gift card. I'm going to make sure we do that. Let me just see if there's any other Q&A. Got none of that. Okay. Lindsay, any parting ways from you?
I think this was an awesome webinar. We had awesome participation, some really cool questions that came through. I would say that with everything that you learned today, I think that we gave so much value, just kind of like off script today. Everything that you learned, pick one thing and go and implement something. Get into the habit of just taking action, of just showing up and just doing it. Putting the post on LinkedIn that says, we are the go-to IT and cybersecurity company because of this. Or pitching yourself to go and speak at the chamber, or whatever the case is. Get into the habit of taking action. Yeah. And it was an awesome webinar today. So thank you all for joining in. Hope to see you at Marketing Machine Live and next week's quarterly event.
Yeah. A couple things I'll say just as a closing. Marketing is about the journey, not the trip. Okay. It takes a long time to do this. One of the reasons we want, and we are a completely different MSP coaching firm than anything that's out there in the industry. I was an MSP. I built it that way. Every coaching company that you think about, I paid for. I already went through it. None of them are bad, but we teach in a different way. We teach with sales first, specifically cybersecurity risk assessments, diagnosing before we can prescribe, showing the pain, using emotional journeys to show your client this is the path. There's a reason why our clients are seeing 80% profit margins across the board. Brett Gallant's a great example of this. Cut his MSP seats in half, tripled his MRR. What would that do for your life? Think about that. Take a chance. We are worth it. I promise you that. And if you don't, I'll give you your money back. It's not, everybody that comes into this program is like, why did I wait so long? Take a chance. We're worth it.